And my thing is one thing about individuals that just getting out of prison and facing the re-entry back into the free society is a challenge. And when you are fortunate to have an organization like the United Players, like our brother Rudy, like the affiliates and the associates that's down with it takes the hood to save the hood. That right there is the type of structured situation that individuals need after doing decades in prison. And absolutely. Me personally, I have met some of you guys, have spoken with some of you guys, and I know there's a lot of individuals here that have done 10 years, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 years. And walking through this environment, it gives me that penitentiary yard type of feeling. And me personally, I done 2 years in the penitentiary. I done a total of 5 years in the penitentiary. And I'm not gonna hesitate. I'm gonna get into what affected me. I was on crack. When crack first hit the scene in San Francisco, I decided to indulge.
God bless him.
And when I did indulge, I self-destructed. I lost my mind. I lost my physical fitness, and I eventually went to jail, went to the penitentiary, got arrested. And back then, when you was towed up from the floor up, we didn't call it you got arrested. You got rescued. You got rescued because you was unproductive. You was misbehaving, and you was making inappropriate decisions. So I do 2 years. I do 2 years. I get out, and my expectations, my mind capacity, my thought process was totally positive. So I'm like, when I get out, I'm not doing no smoking no crack. I'm not doing no heroin. I'm not doing nothing but having a drink and smoking some weed occasionally. And for the first 7 days, I stayed true to that commitment.
He said 7.
After the 7th day, I decided to go to the club and have a Long Island iced tea. And my thought process was fuzzy. So after leaving the club, I meet a young lady that I got high with, and we embraced each other.
Check this out.
And she say, Herm,
True game.
you want to go to the, can we go? So I take her to the hotel. Me and her go to the hotel. Once we in the hotel, I have absolutely no intentions on using no crack, no cocaine or nothing. She said, Herm, is it okay for me to light this cigarette? I'm like, yeah, go ahead. But I'm under the impression that I'm stable and emotionally strong enough to handle the temptation.
It was blurry.
And as she's smoking that cigarette, I'm sitting over here in the corner, cool, calm, and collected.
You don't want no more pussy. Give me
the cigarette get down to here. The temptation is grabbing at me, grabbing at me, grabbing at me.
Wow.
And I submitted to the temptation. And say, let me hit that cigarette. And it was down to the butt.
It's okay, brother.
I hit that cigarette, and all of my positive thoughts, my expectations, the goals I had immediately evaporated, became negative. I had $700 in my pocket. I immediately say, let's go. We went to Sunnydale, I bought drugs. We went to Fillmore, we went to Hunters Point, we went to West Point, Valencia Street. And I'm buying drugs at all these different locations. And for the next 21 days, I was using crack until I ran out of money. My car got towed. I ran out of money. And at the end of after 28 days, I'm standing in West Point like this at 3 in the morning.
Oh my God.
Tweaking.
Jesus is good.
looking for somebody to slide through. The only person slid through was the police.
Woo!
And the
You tell
police
his
was
story.
Max.
I love it.
Now, Max was a neighborhood
I love it.
police officer.
This is real.
And he knew us just like we know Rudy. He knew of my reputation. He knew what I was about. And usually, if it's not a robbery, a bank robbery, a murder, or a homicide, he won't even mess with you.
Right.
But he knew that I had just got out. And he looked at me and said, Herm, is you on that shit again?
Woo!
I'm taking your black ass back to jail.
See?
Sure enough, he patted me down. I had some crumbs in my pocket. And he stayed true to his promise, took my black ass back to jail.
Wow.
So I've done 2 years, stayed out 28 days. Went back and done 2 more years.
Ooh.
This time when I got out, I said, man, I'm going to be strong. I'm going to be positive.
Yes.
And 1 week, imagine this. 1 week before I got out, I was a shot caller on the yard. 1 week before I got out, the police raided the yard. They find some knives. They start searching cells. They come up in my cell and find some revolutionary BGF material and give me an indeterminate shoe program.
What?
Now imagine, I'm getting out next week after doing 2 years. They slapped me with an extra 2 years
What?
for having revolutionary reading material in my cell. So this is what my life changed. I had just quit smoking cigarettes. I had just recently started reading my Bible. And when they transferred me to Corcoran Shoe Program. When they transferred me to Corcoran Shoe Program, the only thing that was in the cell was a pack of cigarettes
God help us.
in the Bible.
I feel him.
And God spoke to me just as surely as I'm speaking to you guys. Herm, if you smoke the cigarettes, you're going to smoke crack when you get out. If you read the Bible, I'm going to walk you through this process. That last year, being incarcerated in solitary confinement was the easiest year I ever done in jail because I had the Lord in my life.
There you go.
And God enabled me to walk through that year
Amen.
like this. And I've been clean and sober for 34 years.
Woo!
I've been clean and
Thank you,
sober
Jesus.
for
I was
34
right there,
years.
right. Thank you.
And I've been a productive individual.
Thank you.
Now, so once I got out, I'm like, man, look, I'm not smoking no weed. I'm not having a drink. I don't want no beer. Only thing I want is God,
Yes.
water,
Yes.
and anything that's healthy.
Fucking God.
I'm not trying to mess with nothing that's going to have me hallucinating
Yes.
because I couldn't handle it.
Right.
Now, individuals that I associate with, they smoke their weed. They have a drink.
Right.
I don't have a problem with that because I'm not trying to isolate myself from the loved ones by saying, oh, we can't be around her because he don't smoke. Man, do your thing.
There you go.
But I'm going to tell you this. Don't overstep the boundary.
Woo!
Don't let smoking some weed or having a drink provoke you to go try heroin.
Say it again, brother. Say
Provoke
it
you
again.
to go try crack.
Don't let it.
Because the consequences of crack or heroin or any other hallucinating drug that send us to prison, the effect today is 10 times worse.
Hello.
And I'm going to say this.
Hello.
I'm going to say this. I had a homeboy. He was my big homie when I first went to pen. When I first went to the pen. I went to San Quentin, then I went to Soledad. When I got to Soledad, this brother had already been down 15 years. And he took me under his wing. That was my first time in prison. He took me under his wing. And eventually he got out. After doing his 15 years, he got paroled. This is very important. Once he got paroled, he was doing well. He had a job. He was around positive individuals like us, this type of environment. And suddenly he told me, he said, Herm, I got bored. So, you got bored? said, yeah, man, I got bored and decided to smoke some crack. He got bored and decided to get high. Let me tell you something. Out here in the free world, it's not happy days all the time. You're going to experience some challenges, some obstacles, some trials and tribulations. But you cannot let that take you over the edge to where you decide, man, I'm bored, I'm frustrated, let me go use some drugs. Because using drugs is going to take you back to prison. So he decided to get high out of boredom, out of a lack of activity. It's not exciting every day in the free world. Some days it's just downtime. Some days it's just bored.
Amen.
But you was bored in jail. You was bored when you was in solitary confinement. And you had no choice but to endure that. So endure it out here. Endure it out here. So because of his boredom, he ended up committing another crime, a robbery. And then they gave him 30 years. They gave him 30. And he just recently got out maybe 9 months ago. He just recently got out 9 months ago. Little bro, is you here? Because I definitely invited him to come here today. He said, man, I love Rudy. All the convicts.
We love Rudy too.
All the ex-convicts. All the individuals that's coming home from the belly of the beast after doing decades in jail have a love for Rudy, have love for the United Players, because it takes the hood to save the hood.
Amen.
I'm Herm Lewis. One love. Peace.
Thank you,
Power to
brother.
the people.